Hello everyone, our presentation today summarizes research in ergonomic and safety lab at the University of Utah that is focused on understanding how forces and accelerations change after head impacts based on clenched and relaxed neck muscles. I'm Mohammed Homayunpour and my advisor is Dr. Andrew Merriweather. 3.8 million sport-related concussions occur in the United States each year, and not surprisingly, many of them are related to American football. In one study, it has been reported that most of the concussions happened when the player did not know about the incoming impact or they had poor posture at the time of the impact. But the reason why preparation is effective is still unclear. Some researchers correlated that to stronger and active neck muscles, while others fail to support it. Also, it has been shown that the head instantaneous center of rotation moves further down with muscle activation in coronal lateral flexion impacts. To further investigate the possible roles of preparation before the impact on the reduction of the risk of concussion, we hypothesize that first, head kinematics may change with cervical muscle clenching, and if they do, how? And second, the applied force may change with clenched muscles. So to test this hypothesis, we created a safe head impactor capable of applying impacts in 4 different directions: front, back, right, and left in random order. We measured linear and angular accelerations using an instrumented mouthguard, and we tested 10 male participants. In 7 non-directional trials, a sound played 1 second before the impact, and the participant asked to clench as soon as they can, and they had the impact after that. In 10 on 1 trials, participants had the impacts while they had been waiting for the warning sound, but they never heard of the warning and they had the impact. So let's jump into the result. In columns, we have sagittal extension, sagittal flexion, and coronal lateral flexion impact. First row shows the linear acceleration, second the angular acceleration, and the third row shows the associated force of the impacts. The blue line represents the unworn condition, and the red line shows the clenched trials. In sagittal extension, peak linear acceleration decreased by 16% with muscle clenching, but angular acceleration increased by 14%. In sagittal flexion, we measured reduction in linear acceleration and increase in angular acceleration but they were not significant. In coronal lateral flexion, peak linear acceleration decreased by 10% with muscle clenching, and also angular acceleration decreased by 21%. By comparing the linear accelerations in different directions, we measured that coronal lateral peak linear acceleration was significantly higher than sagittal impacts. And also, in unworn trial, peak angular accelerations happened in the rebound phase, the yellow circles. But in clenched trials, there was just 1 peak in angular acceleration. Also, peak force increased by muscle clenching, but it was just significant in lateral impacts. So for the conclusion, for the first hypothesis, we measured that the kinematic of the head changed based on impact direction and muscle clenching. We concluded that clenching could be effective as a protective mechanism by decreasing the linear acceleration of the head. Also, clenching could avoid or decrease the peak angular acceleration significantly in the rebound phase, and also neck strength was only significant in sagittal extension. To answer the second hypothesis, we measured that the applied force did not change more than 4% with clenched muscle, while linear and angular acceleration changed over 14%. So the force wouldn't be a good predictor for linear and angular acceleration without knowing the level of muscle activation. Also, we think the peak angular acceleration in the rebound phase may be responsible for the higher risk of concussion in unprepared athletes. As a future work, we propose improving the head and neck dynamic models to replicate the effect of muscle clenching. Also, I want to acknowledge NSF and NIOSH for their funding. Thank you.